welcome back everyone. This is the monthly tarot reading, and what this is every month based on the numerology of the month. I pick the major arcana card that corresponds with a number. For example, March was 3 plus 2024, which gave us the card Justice, and so forth. So I am your host, Sirona Rose, and I'll be happy to walk with you this year as we are walking in the steps of the Fool. So each month we'll have a different major arcana card that talks about the energy that could influence that month. And if you haven't checked out my other months, please go back and check out January and February. I really went into that. January, I talked about what the card for 2024 was and so forth. So go check those out. Those will be really good for you to catch up and kind of see how this energy is unfolding. So for March, we were operating under the influence of Justice. Now with this card, this signaled that we were halfway through the Fool's journey. So we come to our equilibrium. That's right. We see the scales here. And we also see Justice holding up the sword of justice, all right, which is a double-edged sword. So here, it can either be used to cut or it can be used to defend. So if you did not check out my March reading, please go over and check that out. Then you will understand that a little bit more. So Justice is the place where we are directly experiencing alchemy work within us. We are beginning to understand the universal laws or the Hermetic principles, which many people know them by. And it brings me back to what an alchemist once said, that equilibrium is the basis of the great work. And here we are in the place of equilibrium, where we are learning that all actions create reactions. Okay? So for April, we'll move this card over. And this is what we are coming out of, right? All action. We are seeing what we do and how that manifests here in the physical world. That is basically where every action creates a reaction. That is what's happening. Everything that we do in this world does create a reaction. It is a ripple effect. So whatever we're doing now will influence our future and so forth. What we've done in the past has influenced our future, where we are now. It's like all the decisions that you made in the past has got you to the place that you are now. That is that concept. So when we get to April, we come into the energy of the Hangman. Now the Hangman is a little bit different, but this is a part of resting as well, because not really resting, I would say like seeing things from a different point of view. But before I want to go into that and explain all of that, let's talk about the Hangman. So the esoteric name of the Hangman is the Spirit of the Mighty Waters. The card number is 12. The rulership is water. And the position on the wheel of the year is the autumn equinox, which is September the 21st. It's a gateway to the setting sun. So if we are looking at our wheel of the year, let me blow this up so you can see a little bit better. If we're looking at the wheel of the year, we see that we're right here on Mabon, September the 21st to the 24th. It's called the autumn equinox. All right. So let's look at these cards. Let's straighten them up first. So now that we have gained our equilibrium and taken responsibility for our own actions, and we have a better understanding of the universal laws, we now meet the Hangman, which is known as a sacrifice. But what do we have to sacrifice? So usually this card is seen as a punishment type of card. And given its image, I mean, I can see how one could have that perception. But this card is more profound than just punishment. It's not punishment, and sacrifice isn't exactly punishment as well. So we can see that, this card, I will say, is very important as we are heading up the wheel of life, okay? Because we're coming out of, everything that we're doing. We're seeing the alchemy of how we are working the energy and those decisions that we're making, how they are developing for us. Are they good for us? Are they in our highest interest? And so forth. And now we get to where, maybe I need to look at things a different way. So as we can see that he is hanging upside down, and, he will say, he's suggesting that, hey, maybe we need to see things from a different point of view. Maybe we're not always the victim we say we are. Maybe we have put ourselves in that place, such as, making decisions that would not be in our best interest. So on a deeper level, this hangman is about a spirit quest. It is a surrender of your previous understanding, our thoughts, those things that we were conditioned to believe and think, the way that we see things, to bring a bigger and better perspective. So all those things that we thought, we're having to surrender those because we're seeing that there's something bigger at play here. This card stimulates new perspectives in our lives. So we are in a physical world, yes, but it's not all there is here in this world. And this card brings us to a merging with universal knowledge. When we began with the Fool, we started this new journey with trust and willingness to take that risk no matter what, period. And with the Hangman, the major arcana card, we are taking another risk on our journey to go inward. You see, with Justice, we were looking at our actions and seeing what we have created in our life. So far, all our past actions have put us to where we are today. So with this card, we are now looking at things in a different light. Before we go into more in-depth understanding of this card, I want to look at the card, the image, and the symbols that we are talking about to help you with this information so it can make sense to you, okay? So we see a young man on this card. He is hanging upside down from his right foot tied to a tree. He's forming the letter T. See here? With his right leg crossed behind him, forming a cross. His hands are tied behind his back, and his head is illuminated. And if you notice, he has a peaceful look on his face. See? It's a very peaceful look. He doesn't look like he's in stress or anything like that. His eyes are wide open. So this image shows that he is suspended between heaven and earth. The Hanged Man card always reminds me of the story of Odin. And if you haven't heard the story of Odin, I will go over it very simply. Odin is a Norse god who hung upside down from the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 days and 9 nights, inverted. He fasted and he bled onto the earth, just like some of the Native American sun dancers do. If y'all know anything about the sun dance from Native American. Anyway, before Odin hung himself from the tree, he stabbed himself with his spear, and he forbade the other gods from helping him. He stared into those dark waters below, which was Mimir's well, to gain knowledge from the Norns. And those were the 3 ladies who dictated fate. But what is the knowledge that he wished to gain? So we can also look to the Egyptian god Osiris in his life and how it was taken by his brother Seth, who tore his body into 14 pieces and had them scattered across Egypt. His consort Isis went forth to gather up all of his body parts and revive him. Osiris becomes risen god of the underworld. His true self is revived, so his eternal self becomes immortal. Now, so with this card, we are seeing a balance between our human life and our spiritual needs. This hanging man is wearing red leggings, which represent masculine energy, it is of fire and action. He is wearing a blue tunic, which represents water and feminine energy, the receptivity. The symbolization of the cross suggests gaining wisdom through sacrifice, which is really the potential fruit of hardship. The willing sacrifice that leads to greater understanding. So his motto is not my will, but thy will. So he is understanding a depth of spirituality within himself, knowing that he is not alone. It's not my will, but thine, which means God, goddess, universe, whatever you want to call it. So within the hanged man, the fool has come to a place where he understands that his inner world is more important than his outer. And as we are seeing in our world how it's really unfolding, and it's coming very, it's been commercialized, but we know that it's becoming more commercialized every single year. It's all about buying, buying, buying. I mean, I can't look through a social media feed without seeing some kind of advertisement getting me to buy something. And yes, of course, we all need to make livings and we all need to do that, but there is a such thing as just too much, right? And when we start placing all of our value into the things that we own, we lose the reason that we're here. If you have been following any of my astrology, which I am going to be posting a new one today, talking about, basically it's going over, it's like insights into the energy, to the planetary energy that's happening right now. I'm fixing to post that. But we are seeing how we're being shown that it's not in the exterior things. It's not the car we drive. It's not the house that we live in. It is actually what is within us. It is who we are. It is, are we operating in our best, highest potential? And with saying that, because we've really been pushed to really, keep up with the Joneses, to have all of the buy this, buy that, just get that whole, the consumerism to the extreme. We are seeing that. And this is saying that, we have to understand that what we do is going to matter in the world. Whatever we're doing, it's going to have a result. Is it going to be good and good for the earth and good for ourselves? Or is it going to be bad? We have to decide that. As each of the inner planets went through Aquarius and then went into Pisces, and now they're in Aries, they all had to pass through Pluto's gate, the Lord of the Underworld. So when they passed through Pluto's gate into Aquarius, they had to look at their future. Aquarius is about looking at the future and seeing what's in the best interest of the people, for the self as well, but the people, because Aquarius is very independent energy. But it's also about the will of all, the good for all, okay? And when they all did that, they had to pass through the 7 gates to get to the underworld, which if you have ever read The Descent of the Goddess, if you haven't, you need to. If you have, then you understand. You have to go through each of those gates and release something of material value. Remember, the goddess didn't have anything with her, so she had to sacrifice, there's our word, those things that she thought defined her, such as her ring, her necklace, her crown, her dress, things like that she thought defined who she was. Now, one thing I also want to include is that when we have the Hanged Man, okay, this is a number 12. Well, 12 plus 1 is 3, right? So that gives us the Empress card. Now, the Empress card, oh yeah, now she is about luxury. Her rulership is Venus. And this is why it's so important that I wanted to mention in the astrology, because Venus had to go through that. She also had to meet up with Saturn that was in Pisces that said, hey, you may not get exactly what you want, but you're going to get what you need. And it's about understanding the boundaries that we have in this physical world. Now the placement for her, for the Empress, is summer solstice, which is midsummer on June the 1st. So I'm just going to show you here. I'm not going to blow it up. Right there it is. So here is a month. This is where we are at the month, but this is where this breaks down to. It breaks down to what we planted, right? This is about fertility. Venus, she rules Taurus, which is the earth, right? And it's about our material. It is also about money. But it goes into agriculture, our food, how we grow it, how we produce it, our money, how we make it, so forth. Now, the Empress card is a card of creativity, and that is her reason. The Empress represents the mother archetype and the experiences of mothering, as well as emotions. So, like the Emperor of the deck is the value of reason. That is our father architect and our experience with logic authority, right? So with the Emperor and the Empress, they awaken the earthly feminine and the masculine archetypes, the energetic archetype. So you see how this is balancing out and playing out here. So just like the magician and the high priestess, they are the cosmic masculine and divine feminine. The Empress and the Emperor are earthly parents. They are the earthly parents of the Fool, and they represent the Mother Earth and Father Sky. They bring forth new life, and they teach us to master the physical plane. All right? So the Empress is the embodiment of Mother Nature. Her name, Empress, simply, it just means she who sets in order the inner workings of the universe. So she's pregnant in this, and being impregnated by the seeds of the magician, she is potentially fulfilled. So the Empress represents growth, abundance, fertility, creativity, as well as beauty. The number 3 is a card that stands for multiplication and generation. So in tarot numerology, it represents the triad, which is the mind, the body, and the spirit, performing in harmonic balance. So through the union of the magician and the high priestess, we get the Empress, and she is the production and structuring of things in formation. So it's just simply logical. There's our masculine energy, right? For her to be associated with the hangman. So this takes us to, you know, when we think of Venus, we think of having the finer things in life and excess, especially while Venus is in Pisces, where she is exalted. She is going to want everything. She is being treated like the queen that she is, but you know, sometimes we have to come to reality and realize that as she goes forth out of Pisces and into Aries, she has to look at things in a different way. So for us, we can see that the Fool, and I'm just going to back these up and bring this down so we can concentrate on the Hangman. So the Fool, representing ourselves on our new journey of life, has come to a place where he understands that his inner world is more important than his outer. He is sacrificing control of conscious ego and surrendering it to the underworld. This is a vision quest. So I would like to say, and this is also willing and conscious choice he's making. He did this to himself. No one is making him do that. Just like life, you know, when we are learning and growing in life, when you're in the spiritual world, when you are learning spirituality, you know that nobody can make you do that. You have to be willing to do that, because when you are embarking upon your spiritual path, you are looking at the deeper layers of yourself. And this is where he has come to. Willingly, he's making this choice. Willingly, he is choosing to go on a vision quest, to make this sacrifice. And this is a sacrifice that he must be willing to do. And he has to want it. This cannot be forced upon him. And at this point in our journey, we are coming to understand our unconscious forces that are within us. This takes me back to the Libra lunar eclipse that we just had on, was it March the 25th? Is that right? Let me see really quick. Yeah, it was the 25th. We had that eclipse where when this year we had the lunar eclipse first. So it's going to be, these eclipses are going to be more of emotional. Okay. So this is going inward. That eclipse did have us going inward. That eclipse did have us, and you have to listen to that because it'll go on, it'll go wonderfully with this reading. And I didn't even, oh wow. It's amazing how that happens. But anyway, that is where we are having to learn that there's some things that we are doing that may not be of the best interest to us. And it's made that the lunar eclipse made the unconscious conscious. And we're having to look at that, like really examining it and seeing like, look at what's happened. Look at what's going on. Let's look at the deeper level of this. Stop looking at the surface of pointing fingers of you did this and you did that. It's beyond that. It's deeper than that. We got to look at get into the root of the problem. He's looking into the well that lies at the roots of the tree of the world tree here. He's looking at those depths, and this is where we're going to. And, you know, at this point in our journey, we are coming to understand our unconscious forces that are within us. And this can be a total reversal of all knowledge that we have previously gained in order to fully understand the situation better and to even get a better perspective, or maybe even a broader perspective over the situation. Okay? So this is this is saying that those things that you used to believe, what you used to think was correct, all of this other stuff, it could be changing your mind and you could be looking at things in a totally different way. So yeah, I mean, it can be a little stressful. It can be. But this is where a lot of of seekers give up. And I've seen that as a teacher. It's like you can see so much potential in a student, but the second that they have some pressure applied to them, oh, no, gotta go, can't do this. Because it is that pressure that makes you form. Think about how a sword in the Justice card, think about how that sword was made. It didn't come out like that. Oh, no, not at all. There was a lot of fire involved. There was a lot of pounding. There was a lot of working done on that sword to make it that way. And this is what we're coming to, realizing that we have to do ourselves like this. So this is a reversal of thoughts and concepts, but it is only through calmness and stillness, as well as meditation, getting quiet on the inside, and placing yourself into a state of receptivity, that you are going to get it. You have to be opened in order to receive. And if you're not going to get it. You're not. You're going to tuck tail and run. And that's exactly what happens to a lot of people. The second that pressure is applied to them, they tuck tail and run. They're not ready to go deeper. Now, the mythological associations of this card, it's been referred to sometimes the Lady of the Lake, Dark Woman of Knowledge, Caradwin's Cauldron, mermaids, the three muses, and all gods of the sea, honestly. Also, Poseidon or Neptune. And it can also touch into the Morian as the healer and the initiator, because this is a form, this can be seen. This is a vision quest. This is one, and I don't know if any of you have been on that, or if any of you have been on a spiritual path where it required you to go inward. It is a moment that it is almost like a pause. And you're having to see things from like looking outside of yourself, right? You have to step outside of the box. This is about seeing things in a different perspective, looking outside of that box and seeing what's going on. Is that really healthy for you? Living the way that you are and doing what you're doing, is that going to be good for you and your long-term goals? This is also about, with all of the planets going through Pisces and then having to go through Aries, is also with the lunar equinox as well, giving up habits that aren't good for you. Maybe you are addicted to sugar. A lot of people are addicted to sugar. That's a highly addictive substance. Maybe you're smoking. Maybe you need to stop smoking. I want to urge you to do that, because I'm telling you, I'm seeing too many people drop like flies over complications due from smoking. So anyway, these are some things to ponder as we go into the month of April. I'm going to be excited to see how it goes. We're getting ready to also have a solar eclipse, which is really tapping into that as well. Solar eclipse is the ending of one and the beginning of another. And that is regarding the ego. So this is very, very significant card as we go into April of 2024. So I hope you enjoyed that, and stay tuned. At the end of April, I'll bring out May and see what we're going into with May. Also, please check out my astrology videos, because they explain some of this energy that we're going through, and from our celestial parents, the cosmic parents, like the magician and the empress, so to speak. We're seeing how these celestial energies are influencing our energetic experience here. So remember, we're all having a human experience, and all of it is about that experience. And let's see the bigger picture. Let's grow. Let's evolve. Let's see beyond all of the facades that are placed before us, and let's get to the root of what's going on. Many blessings, everyone. I'll see you next time.